Hi, Pisces Sun and Rising. Welcome to your April 2022 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So, even though we're talking about April and your birthday has come and gone by then, there still are going to be transits in your sign, and the Aries transits are in your second house of earned income, so that's good. So I think it'll be a really nice month for you. April is a time for all of us where we have a lot of the month as a green light to start new projects and expect them to go easier because there aren't any personal planets retrograding at this time. Now, the one thing that will be retrograding that has a connection to you is Neptune. And I will get to that a little bit later, but that's your ruler, so that might be more significant for you. So we start the month with a bang, and Aries as a sign is certainly a bang. And there's a new moon on the 1st, 11 degrees of Aries. This is your second house of earned income. This can indicate some new developments with the way that you earn money. Perhaps you're coming up with some brilliant idea for other ways of doing so, and maybe there's a new job that you're working at. Who knows? But that's what is happening on the 1st. And on the 5th, the ruler of the second house, Venus, goes into your sign. So Venus is the attractor, and when it's in the first house, you can expect to be perceived by other people in a very favorable manner. Sometimes this is even with the physical appearance due to the first house, where you look better. Now, you may actually be embarking on some way to improve your appearance. That's always a possibility. But regardless of whether or not you're doing that, you still may give off a glamorous vibe, an attractive vibe. And it's interesting that word attractive has inherent in it the idea of attracting. And it's not just about attracting a person. It could be attracting money to you, attracting good luck or favor. Venus isn't associated so much with luck. That's more Jupiter, but definitely, how would I characterize it? Popularity, that kind of thing. Charm, people perceiving you as charming and things like that. On the 14th, Mars goes into Pisces. And so here we have another planet that's going into your sign, and that is giving you more physical energy. Mars in the first house has a physicality because it's connected to your body. So you may just naturally feel like moving more than you have recently. When you have those planets in the 12th house, it's kind of like they're taking a hibernation period, and it's an internal house. So it's not really doing stuff in the world so much, but now it is. It's like you're putting yourself out there, and that could be on a physical level. I feel like I'm missing. Oh, yeah. There was something that I was going to mention, and this is also in Pisces. I thought I had put that down here. Oh, I guess not. So on the 12th, there's going to be a conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune. And Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces, and Neptune is the current ruler of Pisces. So they do have something in common in that sense. And we would characterize this as a spiritual type of an effect. Although I personally think that this could have even like a financial angle to it in terms of how it might impact certain people, simply because Jupiter is associated with that, and Neptune can simply be, whether it's something karmic that, in a good sense, that's coming to you because of past good deeds, or because it just is written in the stars altogether. I don't know, but there's that idealism that is associated with Neptune, and Jupiter is just like this Santa Claus energy. So, yeah, and for you, because this is in Pisces, it's in your first house. So, that might be something that benefits your life in general. Now, remember what I said, you have Venus and Mars here. This is really about you, big time. I mean, when I was saying that stuff at the beginning, I forgot about that conjunction because I hadn't put it down here. So that could be very magical for Pisces individuals. On the 16th, we have a full moon at 26 degrees of Libra. So Libra is your 8th house. And a full moon, whoa, that's really intense in the 8th house. This is Scorpio's domain. A full moon can bring out secrets. It can bring out your shadow self. And for Pisces, this can be a real, I was going to say a slap in the face, but a real eye opener. Actually, the 8th house can be other people's money. So there is a possibility that maybe all these things are also connected to somebody else. Maybe an inheritance. Maybe some kind of assistance that, or gift, monetary gift that you get. If it's like an inheritance situation, I think that it's either that you're discovering that this exists in the first place, or that the whole ordeal, if it was like a drawn out process, that it's finally over with and that it gets resolved. But it could come into your awareness. And again, when I say about secrets, sometimes, unfortunately, you have family members who may be trying to do something behind the scenes and they get busted out. But this might be a realization about your own shadow self that you have kept at bay, but it can have a very healing effect. The 8th house is house of transformation. So a few days later on the 19th, the sun goes into Taurus. This is a friendly angle to you. This is the 3rd house of communication. This is Gemini's domain. And you are plugged into maybe social media more, online stuff. You're possibly getting more interested in writing something, communicating something, training for something. All of these things might be possibilities for you at this point, especially as we get more energy in that 3rd house. You already have Uranus here, and that may have been increasing your psychic ability. Not that you need it, but, just because. And that might even be the type of things that you're studying, which are of a very unusual nature with Uranus. But, Uranus is associated with technology, so you might be like constructing a blog or what have you. On the 29th, Mercury goes into Gemini. And so Pisces, this is your 4th house of home and family. So, yeah, and that's the other thing, too, is that the 3rd house can be your siblings. It can be your aunts and uncles and cousins. So family matters may come into your life more as we get into the second half of April going into May. Mercury in the fourth house can have, be contact with your mother, talking back and forth more often. It could be something to do with a property, maybe a document for a house. On the same day, your ruler Neptune goes retrograde. This is in, the sign of Pisces, so it's in that first house. So what kind of reality check do you need about you as a whole? Now, I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying this is going to be true for you, but with Venus in the first house, if you have been feeling cute and you look in the mirror during the Venus retrograde and maybe you got like some haircut or something and now it looks hideous to you, that might be an example of that. But anything to do with your life as a whole where you were kind of in denial about something or overly idealistic about it, there's a reality check, but that's not bad. That's correction, just like all retrogrades can be a chance to go over something. With the Neptune retrograde, to kind of reveal the stark truth about something. So this would have to do with yourself as a whole. The very next day, there's a solar eclipse in Taurus at 10 degrees of Taurus. So that is in your third house. And this can be, the third house too is the house of the mind. So this can be something that is really coming to the forefront of your mind about a truth that you need to face. Now, it could combine with something from the third house. So, for instance, this brother or sister sibling situation. And, oh yeah, that's another thing about the fourth house, is that it deals with childhood. So Mercury in the fourth could have you thinking about your childhood. And this may lead to you really gaining insight about something. But sometimes the insight can be very jarring because it's making you understand, something that you had to deal with. And if it is about a sibling, like an example would be if you have been talking to your mother or, whatever the fourth house means to you, it could be either parent, talking to a parent and being in a certain mindset where you're seeing things differently and you're able to kind of observe their behavior from a more analytical standpoint, and you realize that they've always favored one of your siblings, or maybe you were the black sheep and all of your siblings got treated better than you. It can be a very jarring experience. So that solar eclipse can be like a truth that you have to face, that you can't just run away from. And I think that's one of the things that Pisces in particular will have to deal with, is seeing things as they truly are in April in more than one way. Because like I said, your ruler Neptune is going retrograde in the house of the self. So this is like really personal for you. It's like a double whammy in that sense. And truth be told, Pisces is a sign that needs to get reality checks, because you do tend to be a lover of fantasy. And I don't mean fantasy in a bad way. The ideal version of life, entertainment, things that take us away from the mundane existence. And I have like some nice angles to Neptune in my own chart. I'm not a Pisces, but I have, and I think about that, about my escapist tendencies. And even with friendly angles to Neptune, it can still be challenging in the sense that just that contact to Neptune makes people in love with anything that is creative, but it can take it to that level of an alternate universe type of thing. And I feel like, oh well, because it's I mean this life in the world isn't necessarily that real either. I mean, what is true reality, right? So that's how I justify it. But I do think sometimes Pisces people tend to not want to see the unvarnished truth because you are so sensitive. So this can be a good thing, and yet you have some wonderful things going on with that conjunction between Venus and Mars. In that, well, not and I mean Jupiter and Neptune in that first house. That can be magical. So, in any case, that's what I have for you. Oh, and one more thing. With the solar eclipse in the third house, this can be very good for opportunities for the internet, whether it's marketing, writing, communicating in general. And this will continue through next year because there's still going to be triggers to this house, and this is a great opportunity too for learning things and having expansive, multiple possibilities for training and acquiring new skills. Okay, Taurus, that's what I mean, Taurus. It's real late at night. Please forgive me, Pisces. Thanks for listening. And if you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my deep dive reading, which is a great value for 2 readings. And I think the savings is around $25 or something along those lines. But it's an hour of natal chart interpretation, hour of transits, and obviously I'm using your very own natal chart. So these online readings here are more generalized, and they're only covering, one particular month, whereas my other reading is about looking at the whole 12-month cycle. You can find out about that reading and the other readings that I offer at the link below. Take care. Bye.